Over the last few years, there's been this trend of service charges in the restaurant industry. Should you have one? I'm going to give you my thoughts in about 2 seconds. Hello, this is Dave Scott Peters, creator of the Restaurant Prosperity Formula, and I understand there's this major change going on in our industry, and it's service charges, where we are not accepting tips in theory. I don't think that really happens. They just add it, and then a customer still adds a tip. Why are restaurants doing this? What are the pros and cons to it? Well, let's first talk about the why. The why is, number one, health insurance, right? If you own multiple locations or have a certain number of employees, you're required by mandated healthcare to provide health insurance to anybody who's a full-time employee. Well, those are rising costs, right? Health insurance goes up and it's astronomical. What about overcoming minimum wage? There's a $15 minimum wage that's sweeping across the country. It's hitting from coast to coast. Now it's going to make its way in. Now, it's not a matter of if, it's when you and your city goes to a $15 minimum wage. How do we overcome that? Well, part of this idea is this service charge. Well, what about rising food costs, right? Every time a truck delivers food to you, your costs go up and up and up, and we feel like we can't raise our prices. So sometimes we add a service charge in our industry. I see these things, all these practices in California, whether in the San Francisco area or anywhere down along San Diego, again, East Coast, up north on the Pacific Northwest in Seattle and so on. These are places that we're seeing these trends. Now, the idea was, if we add the service charge, well, what can we do? Well, now I can maybe pay my employees a little bit less because they're guaranteed a certain amount of money. Well, I get the pro on that. What's the con? Your employees stop giving a shit, right? Why should I work hard? Why should I create a memory for the guest that walks in the door? I'm guaranteed a certain amount of money. So I don't like that. Well, so that takes care of the minimum wage. Well, I've seen in San Francisco where they were one of the first ones to hit mandated healthcare before it was federal. They were adding the surcharge because the city said you will pay your employees insurance, health insurance. So they added it onto me. Well, what it is the same tactic, if you will, as the last piece I gave you of the rising food costs. It's allowing the owner to say, you know what, I'm going to keep my prices the same or low, and I'm going to add on this cost. It's not me, it's the city, it's the state, it's whatever. It's this extra charge that I'm going to put on here. So I'm really not charging you more. It's kind of a perception thing. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not a believer in service charges. I think that you should pay people a fair wage. You should charge what your value is. And that's great hospitality. Right? I'm going to tell you right now, if you want to go out there and read a book by John DeJulius, a customer service expert called Secret Service, we're going to take price out of it. We're going to make price irrelevant, is what John would say. We're going to make sure we deliver an incredible hospitality experience. See, no matter what you're charging, if you deliver on a great experience, your guests leave having a memory. Your guests leave happy. Your guests want to come back. See, you give them a shitty experience, then I don't care if you comp the meal, it's way too much money. If it were me and I'm trying to analyze whether a service charge is right for my restaurant, 99 out of 100 times, I'm going to say no. Train your team, put out an incredible experience, incredible product, and you will not only be in business, but you'll be busy as hell.